New World is having a free-to-play weekend, which I think is a great idea, but the execution is seeming pretty weird, and unfortunately I think it's going to reflect badly on the game. So let's show you what I mean. If we jump onto New World database, we'll see, well, first thing to note, and I mean it's not immediately obvious here, but trust me, the average number of players hasn't really changed due to this free weekend. Like, there's been a slight increase, but not really much more beyond that. Okay, so that's a little bit disappointing first and foremost, and I think there's probably quite a few reasons for that. But one interesting thing that they have done in preparation for this free weekend, the Amazon developers have released quite a lot of free servers, which, by the way, I still think you can play on the unlocked servers where character creation is enabled, but there's these free weekend servers that you can play on, I guess, so you know, like, it's all like new people and stuff like that, and they are going to be merged. But let's just look how many there are of them. Like, I mean, I can just keep scrolling here. There are quite a lot of free servers. I think somebody said there was like 70 odd. Now, did they really need 70 new servers when the game, quite frankly, hasn't seen that big of a population increase? That's the key question, and it just feels weird and it feels wrong. Because look, we've got, like, this is one of the more popular servers, right? It's got 34 people on it. You've got people who are starting the game and they're all sort of spread out without belonging anywhere. So playing on a server where there's 12 new people or 13 new people, that's not going to feel great. Granted, as I said, I understand that maybe they wanted all the new players to start together. Sort of makes sense. But just do like one per region and have somebody at the office being like, if this server gets full, we'll open another. Boom. I'm a genius. Honestly, I just thought of that. I mean, hell, pay me. I'm sat at home, let me just click the button and turn on another server. I doubt it's that simple, but my point is that sure, it can't be that hard if you prepped all the work and you maybe just had a button that was like, okay, go live kind of thing. Now, if we have a quick look at Steam charts and New World, we'll see a little bit of a bump in the last 30 days. Probably that was mostly to do with word of mouth and the game feeling a little bit better. The fact that they've got this free-to-play weekend sort of makes you question if that's actually the case now, because the numbers are going to be a little bit skewed. But we can quite clearly see there's not really been that big of an impact so far. Now, so far is a key phrase, because it's possible that Amazon are doing something that I didn't realize that they were going to do. One thing that they may be planning, which I don't think would make up for this like massive amount of servers, is that they may be planning on basically doing some sponsored streams with some really big Twitch streamers. You know, if they get Asmongold playing again, Shroud, maybe even, you know, go balls to the wall and get XQC and just everybody that they can get and get them to play New World, maybe that will like tease people back into the game and get people to try it. However, like 70 odd servers still seems like a ridiculous amount. There's not much evidence that they're planning this. I'm filming this on Friday, and there is a little bit of evidence. There's a stream by Black Bullet there who appears to be doing a sponsored stream, but I've not heard of anybody else really doing this. I've not seen any plans or anything like that. That's not to say they would release their plans to me. Like Asmongold wouldn't be like, hey Jay, I'm going to do a sponsored stream. So they could be planning that. I would still have preferred to have seen it ramp up rather than to start big and to try and like grow the audience to that. I feel like the way they've done it's a little bit weird. Now, one thing to note is that we were never going to get the bump that the game would have got if it went full-on free-to-play. This is not free-to-play New World like classically. This is a free-to-play weekend. It's only free from, I think it was free maybe yesterday until the end of Sunday. It's not like forever. You're still going to have to buy the game, and yes, the game is at a 40% discount, so you know, it's actually a good time to play. Weirdly, I think this is a good time to play if you're like interested in New World. It's good to come back and it's good to start. The game has got a lot better, and I would sort of start recommending it. And I think maybe this is why New World was like, hey, maybe people actually want to play our game. Not quite. You've got a lot of things to prove Amazon and New World. And quite frankly, we have to keep in mind that 1 million people at least already have your game, if not way more, because that's the numbers that we saw when the game was launched. So we already know a lot of players have the game. They're not playing for other reasons beyond just the game being pay to play. It's also worth considering that a weekend worth on an MMO is a little bit weak because you're only going to experience maybe like 20 levels or something like that, depending on how hardcore you are. So a lot of people aren't going to download a relatively big game just to play for a weekend on an MMO where they're not sure if they're going to like it or not, and quite frankly they know they're not getting the full experience because that's not what you get in an MMO. Not like a shooting game where you have matches that are short and you have those like fun short experiences. An MMO is much more about like the long-term progression and that kind of thing. So ultimately I don't think a free weekend on an MMO is all that good of an idea, just full stop. The sale is probably a good thing, but really we need the game to just keep going on its positive progression. We need all of the good things keep getting added and that kind of stuff. This sort of PR thing feels a bit like a blunder at the minute. No pun on blunderbuss. But I could be completely shocked if Asmongold and all those people start streaming it this weekend and the game starts popping off. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would love to see it. So let's see. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Have a most beautiful day. Goodbye.